You're looking for a word of the year this year, it surely has to be vibe. The word's coming up everywhere. In fact, the vibe is the vibe. And it's all come about because of the recent election in the United States, which has cast ripples over the rest of the Western world. So what's the vibe change? The vibe change has to do with the political and cultural shift from a way of looking at the world that was more left-leaning to one that's more conservative-leaning. From the woke, I guess, to a different kind of woke, where cancel culture is now in the hands of those who are more conservative. But the vibe shift has been coming for some time. There's been a groundswell of people saying, why are we being stopped from saying things that we think are true that need to be said? Why is there no place in our modern Western world in politics and culture for alternate viewpoints? We see it when universities clamp down on dissent and look for microaggressions in everything, yet at the same time couldn't call out anti-Semitism. The Trump election gave a free hall pass to those who say there needs to be a shift. And you see it in the tech bros. You see that Mark Zuckerberg is now saying we shouldn't have been censoring anyone about anything. You see it in Elon Musk. And it's filtering down into the rest of the culture where people are saying, at last we've had the strictures of the hard left and its schoolmarmish way of policing our language undone. And if you listen to Bari Weiss and her podcast Honestly, you'll even hear people from the left saying it was too hard. I was thinking things at university campus where I work that I couldn't say, and now I can. Well, that's not very brave. I really admire the people who were able to be brave and even lost their jobs for the sake of the vibe change. Because here's the thing, the vibe change didn't happen by accident. It happened because people put their backs to the wall and fought against it long enough that it started to gain traction. I would also say that's true for the church. There's a vibe change that's happened in church, I think, that Christians are starting to say maybe we have more oxygen to say some of the things about human flourishing, what it means to be human, what a human is for, that we didn't have before. Maybe the church is getting more traction. The complexity of that, of course, is that people will start to line up to claim Christianity for all sorts of nefarious reasons. You're seeing it's more obvious in Hollywood these days that you can be a Christian, whereas before it wasn't so obvious. But that will dilute, I think, some of the things about Christianity that we hold central. And one of them is this: whether the vibe is for us or whether the vibe is against us, that's not our call. We are to proclaim the gospel in good times and in bad times. And the vibe will sometimes be with us. But if we hitch everything to that vibe, what happens when there's a political or cultural change? The other thing that I would add at this point is that, like rust, woke never sleeps. The places like universities where there's a strong pushback against the current cultural conservative vibe, those things will keep going. In fact, it's part of that cultural framework to see this vibe shift as something to fight against. Watch this space. I think vibe is one of the words of the year for 2025, but who knows? Something could come, a black swan event, that could change all that.